So moving forward, let me first introduce our club initially. It's a newly birthed technical club launched in VIT-AP in the year 2022. We create a platform for students to introduce the world of innovation and research. Our motive is bearing various lectures on emerging technology. As a result, we are gathered today here. So we know that you all are excited to set foot into the world of innovation using artificial intelligence in any domain. So to triple out your enthusiasm, let's watch some promo video. Sir, you're muted, sir.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Shall I go ahead?
Yes, sir. Let's have some promo video, then we'll have.
Sure.
Okay, that was an amazing video. Let me introduce our speaker and the guest for this evening. We have Mr. Anurup Tribatina, a big data developer, Azure data engineer, mentor, and a guest speaker. He was an alumni of VIT Vellore Electrical and Electronics Engineer in the year of 2015. Experienced in 6 years in driving any size and format of data towards insights and predictions using Azure Cloud Services. He has delivered 18 guest lectures on AI and cloud computing at various international platforms and universities. He is currently pursuing his master's in the University of Massachusetts, Boston. It's our immense pleasure to have you with us all today, sir. Now the podium is all yours.
Thank you for the introduction, Rameshwari. Hello, everyone. Good evening. I hope I am loud and clear. Just making sure that last time when I had an interaction with other VAT Vailor group, I spoke at least 15 minutes without the audio. That's why I'm making sure. Am I loud and clear?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir. Perfect.
Thank you. So today's topic I want to talk about is AI for everyone. Like how we can innovate in each business using artificial intelligence is our topic. And before that, I think Rameshri had done a good job in introducing myself, and you can also connect with me by using the different social links that are available in the link that I had given on the screen. I hope my screen is visible and you all can see link tree Anudeep Sri. Yes,
Yes, sir.
perfect. So let's dive into our agenda for today. Generally, everyone will have their Q&A session at the end, but I wanted to have it at the first because I want to interact with you and understand what is the expectation from this particular topic that you might have. And then I already have topics to explain, such as data, science of handling data, artificial intelligence in different businesses, the main topic. And I also want to talk about how artificial intelligence is already in our lives and end it. So, before diving into the topic, can any one of you come up and tell me what are you expecting from this session? Like last time when I had interaction with VAT Welder people, they had in mind about ethics and AI, and almost 1 hour we spoke about that. So likewise, I can go with my PPT, but before that, I thought I would ask you if you have any particular thoughts in your mind that we can discuss before going in.
Sir, we want to know like how AI is useful in many domains, not only like particularly with CSI, but many other domains. We're excited to
Sure.
know about that.
Yeah. Anything else? Anyone?
Hello, sir.
Yep.
Yeah, we would like to know the job opportunities available in artificial intelligence field, sir.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you,
And
sir.
what else? Yeah, so whatever you have asked, I'm happy that I had covered in my slides. I'll be talking both about the topic and also about different job opportunities that you can look at. How you can innovate using artificial intelligence is what you're gonna see in this. So you must have heard about this line, data, the raw gold, or data, the new oil. Why is it called? I hope all of us use Facebook. I hope all of us are using Instagram nowadays. Um, I can't tell you on how much artificial intelligence are being used in the social media. For example, did you ever observe that if you go ahead and talk to your friends or parents over the call, when you say I want to buy a desk, immediately you will have suggestions asking to buy desk from certain amazon.com or any other website. Did you guys observe that, any one of you? It can be camera, laptop, anything as such. So that's how Instagram is providing ads based on customization. So artificial intelligence provides you as a business an ability to customize your ads to the users that you have. Uh, So here the main point that I want to talk about is data being generated from these social media websites. So Google processes over 20 petabytes of data. I want you to Google what is petabyte. Petabyte is something more than a terabyte that we all know. I hope we use hard disks of terabyte, but petabyte is even more. And per day, it used to process 20 petabytes in 2008, and you can imagine what we will be doing in 2022. So this was the statistics that was old. You can see on my slide, it's taken on 2008 and 2009. So these are all the old statistics. I can't imagine how much data they would be processing for each day when it compares to 2008. As I said, data is the new oil. You can try to imagine how China and India, being most populous countries in the world, are generating a lots of data. This data can be mined by using different sources, let's say our smartphones, our laptops, or the sensors that we have in the industries. When we combine all this data, the amount of data that we have is very, very huge. So the kind of data that we are generating has grew over time, isn't it? um, I I hope you wouldn't know there were Nokia phones which would just allow you to call, but in today's time there are phones that would allow you to video call, which is a huge leap that had happened. And when you have such devices handy, the kind of data that you generate, I hope each of you would take so many pictures in a day and at least upload them on Instagram, and that becomes a data point. So that is called a data point. So before going into handling the data, any questions on the data part, like how it is being generated and what it is? So data is something that which is we generate. So as I speak, this speech that is being recorded becomes a data point, and this is called voice data, right? Likewise. So the science of handling data, this is a huge science. This is what we call data science. Data, when we process and try to understand the data and make sense out of it, we call it as information. So bringing the data from the source, processing it the way we want as per the business, and chalking out information is called analytics. So these are the terminologies that you would hear whole of your life from now on, because analytics is going to stay. Just to quote an example, once upon a time, like your grandfathers and grandmother time, our grandparents never heard of electricity. Now electricity is a common thing that you can't imagine. It stays with us forever from now on, isn't it? Likewise, analytics is something that was not there when I was doing my BTech. It was on a very minimal level as per the scale. But due to computational abilities, I hope now you are hearing about 1 TB of hard disk and 8 GB RAM. Once upon a time when I was doing BTech, it was only 512 GB. 512 GB would be like the costliest laptop that I would get back in 2011. So that's the major difference that we have in computational abilities. And also 8 GB RAM, once upon a time it never existed. The highest was 4 GB, I guess, when I was doing my BTech. So that is the major leap that happened in the computational abilities, due to which we can store more amount of data. So when we have more amount of data, we can do a lot of process and chuck out lots of information from this data. So how do we get the data? So there's a huge science called data mining, where we try to, I hope you understand what is mining, right? In generic English, mining is nothing but you go down underground and try to mine the minerals. Likewise, data, you need to get it by using different sources. So what are those sources? One of the primary source is called surveying. Now, what if I give you a Google documentation? No, I'm sorry, the Google form, and ask you to fill up the feedback for this particular lecture. So this is called surveying, right? So that way, this data would be helpful for me to improvise what I'm doing. Likewise, there's also external way of getting the data. It's by interviewing thought leaders in your industry, like how this is happening. Now you're gonna get a little more info on what you already know, and you're gonna dive deeper into that particular aspect the way you like it. So this is primary way of getting the data. This was used long back, and now we are all set to utilize the secondary kind of data, where we just get the data from um, like social media or Google So how is that you gonna know about more about me is when you go to the social media and look about me, isn't it? So how is that you are able to see about me is because I had given the data that I have 6 years of experience, 2 years of mentoring people. I have given 18 guest lectures, such kind of information I had provided. So you would be able to mine that data. External data is like when somebody had already taken out the data from this primary sources and they have prepared some sort of data so as to utilize it. So these are the different ways of chalking out data from sources. Let me take you through examples. So, what is a data and what type it can be? It can be of any form. As I said, it can be a picture, it can be a video, it can be speech. At the same time, it can be, when it comes to businesses, it can be numbers, just numbers, right? Also, there's a separate science of data that deals with text. I hope we all use autocorrect in our phones, right? So that is based on natural language processing, which is a part of artificial intelligence. What happens there is based on the context, what we are typing, it automatically suggests the next word. That's what is happening. So the text data, voice data, picture data, and video data comes under unstructured format because there's no linkage between the photo that you take in your trip and the photo that you take in your home, isn't it? There's no link between them when I see your data. So these are all called unstructured data. But when it comes to your database, let's say your college database, your name is attached with your registered number, registration number, and your registration number is attached with all your records of subjects that you took and all the marks that you get. So all this is relational, isn't it? So this kind of data is called structured data because you can show them in a tabular format. So likewise, the data is divided into internal and external. Internal data can be an structured data because you can show them in table. But when it comes to reviews, it is gonna be in text data. Let's say there's this movie that is released on March 11th, Radeshyam. So you want to understand the reviews given in different websites. You can do something called sentiment analysis using natural language processing so as to understand the sentiment of the movie. Likewise, so let me give you more example as we talk. Now, there is also one more way of collecting data in industries. It's not just always about getting the data of profit and loss. It's also about different uh, data which comes something from something called Internet of Things or IoT. IoT is nothing but collecting the data from each and every machine that is installed in an industry. Let's say what you're seeing right now is a PCB manufacturing industry, which is having different robotic machines that are trying to manufacture a PCB. And you have sensors attached to this. The symbol, the Wi-Fi symbol that you see is nothing but a sensor. So these sensors collect the data of the functioning of these machines and try to fill up in a database. In that way, you're gonna get all the data about how your machines are performing in your industry. So this way you can maintain the machines properly, you can see how accurate they are performing, you can see which way you can cut down your costs, electricity costs, etc. You must have also heard about smart cities. What is a smart city? It's nothing but having everything connected to uh, automation so that you don't have to worry about manual management. Let me give you an example. I don't know how many of you had gone to malls where the parking is very limited. Let's say there's a mall where it has only little place for parking. So how do they organize is that they have vertical parking wherein when one car enters into that garage, that goes up, and the one which is vacant comes down. That kind of parking. So this is automated parking where once the vacancy is filled, it goes up and the vacant one comes down, and that's how you can do a vertical parking. So all such kind of smart parking management and smart cities can be built so that you don't have to worry about the space. Like if you go to different cities which are like towns, so in those towns you don't have such smart parking, and what you're gonna do is to lease out some other place so as to give provision for parking. Isn't it a waste of resource and money? But what if you do a smart parking? That way you save a lot of money, lot of resources. So that's where your automation and artificial intelligence comes into play. And yeah, like if you wear smartwatch, your data of heart rate, your data of different fitness related data gets synced with your iPhone, and that can be used for analytics to tell you how much did you perform this day and how much did you perform on an average. So that is a classic example of what AI can do in a real life. So how does all this work? The example which I just told you, how does it work is that the data from sensors and different things gets stored, probably a cloud, and from the cloud you can access that data so as to chuck out the information from this data. This is called analytics. As you can see, you can visualize the data that is coming in. You can predict the future, as in what would be the next probable way of uh, the data behavior, kind of stuff. Now, let's come to the artificial intelligence. Is it a hype or a reality? It's definitely not hype. We have crossed that stage because it has already become a reality. As I quoted an example in the starting, the example of Instagram, it heavily uses artificial intelligence in its ad um, strategy. So in the marketing strategy, what it does is it tries to capture the sounds that are coming out from you or in the phone or the surroundings, and tries to understand, catch hold of the words, something like laptop, something like camera, something like desk, and it tries to give you market options, such as you can buy a desk on an amazon.com, and it will show you that image. That's an ad. Or based on your browser data, it tries to give suggest some ads. Likewise, if you are trying to um, engage with the content on YouTube on a continuous basis. Let's say if you're continuously looking at camera reviews, you want to buy a camera and you're looking at camera reviews. The Instagram suggests something about buy a camera or some ad from a Nikon or Canon. So that's how the real life is being influenced by artificial intelligence. So let me talk about the industries that I have on on your screen. One is higher education. I don't know how many of you have come across. Now the primary school students and the secondary school students are now looking at such kind of schools wherein their performance is being shown in a dashboard, and it is being sent to parents. It's not just the attendance, it's also the marks, it's also the performance and all that stuff, where parents can monitor the performance. It's not report cards anymore. I hope like me, you also had report cards in your primary school, but now it's all different, and there's a lot of improvisation. And when it comes to life sciences, I can tell you, due to different kinds of diseases that are evolving across the world, the biological scientists are also using a lot of bioinformatics field, something where they understand how data works, and they are utilizing artificial intelligence so as to understand how the life sciences work, as in, you know, the biological aspects of different animals work. For example, I am working on something like this. So there are different kinds of breeds in fishes, and these fishes have certain behavior in underwater, the way they move, the way they eat, the way they go in their gangs, all that stuff. So um, trying to analyze that comes under this life sciences industry, and it's a huge science. Bioinformatics is top trending in artificial intelligence domains. Media and entertainment, I just spoke about Instagram. I can't emphasize enough on how media and entertainment is using technology on a daily basis. For example, you know there are movies that are being released on metaverse. The trailers of the movies, they are already using NFTs, something related to cryptocurrencies. And I want to give you one more example about media and entertainment. We watch different ads on TV, isn't it? So some of the ads are very beautiful. They stay up on your mind. I hope you remember different Fevicol ads that used to come up. All these ads, before being aired on television, are sent for analytics to understand the sentiment analysis. So what happens is, for the video they have, the ad video, analytics would be run on that video so as to understand if there is any particular shot that is not good. Also, speech analytics happen so as to understand if there are any words that are being used in the ad are not user friendly, or it's not good for the kids. And finally, what happens, they take a survey from different kinds of people from different walks of life to understand whether the ad is making an impact or not, and then release the ad. So all this is about using AI in the field of media. Government, for example, Indian government is using a lot of AI in the field of social media, in the field of defense. I hope you all must have heard about how the DRDO organization is developing different kinds of missiles that locates so once the target is set, the missile goes and hits the target based on the geo location given to it. Automotives, I hope there are people who are frenzy about cars. So how do you think automobiles are using artificial intelligence? Let me give you an example. Let's say there's BMW, and BMW has to give warranty for the cars they are manufacturing, isn't it? So what they do is to understand the sensor data that is coming from different cars that they have sold over years. They'll understand how the cars are being used, how much times the brake is being used, how much time the clutch is being used, how much time the accelerator is being used, and the person who is driving. So is it so is the car being used for as a public transport or something like, a taxi, or is the car being used for personal purposes? So they categorize in that way and try to analyze and determine the warranty of that car. For example, if they are selling a car for a company, the warranty, which is generally for 5 years, they'll reduce to 3 years, because the way companies use the car is very different, isn't it? They use the car for transportation of the executive uh, team, isn't it? So that is the way of using automotive. And gaming, I hope we all know how gaming is employing artificial intelligence. It's been there from long, it's not something new. Finance, I hope you guys are using some. I don't know whether you're using. I don't think you must have known. So there are so many apps that help you to understand your spending. They visualize the spending and try to give you analytics, how much that you have spent previously, in which category that you have spent, blah blah blah, just by connecting it to your bank account. So that is how financial industry is using AI. And one last thing, I hope you all must have used Face app, wherein it shows your face, how you look when you're old, or how you look if you're a other gender. So such kind of implementations that comes under computer vision, so that is also AI. So this way what I'm trying to convey is that AI is being used in every industry, and every industry can be enhanced with the capabilities of AI. And I know it's only slides, let me show you one video that should interest you.
This year, I figured we could do something a little bit different. And instead of me telling you how great this class is, I figured we could invite someone else from outside the class to do that instead. So let's check this out first.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to MIT 6S191, the official introductory course on deep learning taught here at MIT. Deep learning is revolutionizing so many fields, from robotics to medicine and everything in between. You'll learn the fundamentals of this field and how you can build some of these incredible algorithms. In fact, this entire speech and video are not real and were created using deep learning and artificial intelligence. And in this class, you'll learn how. It has been an honor to speak with you today, and I hope you enjoy the course.
So this is how it was generated.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to MIT 6S191.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to MIT 6S191, the official introductory course on deep learning.
So the Obama who is talking has been generated using computer vision. Isn't it interesting? So that's how it works. That's how computer vision works and AI works. Any questions until now, guys? Anything that you want me to touch upon as of now?
No, sir.
Okay. So coming to the favorite part of what kind of jobs you would have. Let me take an example. Let's say if I am a mechanical engineer and if I learn data science, I can happily go and sit in a company which is having mechanical department and also that needs a data scientist. For example, let's say Mercedes Benz, or the BMW example that I just gave you, you can go ahead and browse. There are openings for data scientists in Mercedes Benz. So why is it? Because the same purpose that which I just told you, you would have to utilize your mechanical knowledge and also your data science knowledge so as to perform that particular job in Mercedes Benz company, right? So you should know about hydraulics, and with that knowledge you can determine and understand the data that is coming out of the sensors in the car. Am I correct? So that is how data engineers, data scientists, and data analysts are being employed in different fields. It's not limited to computer science, and AI cannot be alienated. It can't be a single science, right? When you say computer science, it's not just like that you sit and work in on computers. That does not mean computer science. So here artificial intelligence is not related to a computer science domain. It is an universal domain which encompasses all the industries, and AI is to be learned by almost everyone. As I told you, biological scientists have to know, mechanical engineers have to know, civil engineers have to know, electrical engineers have to know. Are there any electrical engineers today?
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
I am from the stream of electronics, not particularly electrical, but I am from electronics, sir.
Okay. So generally, for example, I just asked to give an example. For example, if I'm an electrical engineer which has no source of I mean, there's no point for me to code. All I have to learn is all about motors and how does it work and stuff. But electrical engineers will have to understand how energy can be generated from windmills. So when I go to windmills, how do I set up a windmill? It needs a certain calculation to set up a windmill, because the direction of the wind, the amount of energy that is being generated, and the cost that is being put in for the setting up of a windmill versus the energy that you're generating should all work out, isn't it? So to set up a windmill, you would need a data scientist, and that data scientist should definitely have a knowledge on how windmill works and all that stuff. So that's why you need an electrical engineer plus a data scientist. That is the whole purpose of that job, isn't it, guys? That way that guy or the girl can do the justification to that particular job. So that's why the field of data is not limited to one particular industry. That was my any questions? Okay. So data scientist is someone who tries to predict what can happen in future, who tries to say what steps are to be taken so that our future can be better in terms of business. Data engineer is someone who tries to extract the data from the source and try to convert it as per the business requirements. As in, the kind of data that you get from the source is very dirty and it doesn't make sense at all. So what does data engineers do based on the requirement of the business? For example, let's say if the business wants to combine two or three tables and bring them into one table and load them, so that it will be easy for the visualization purpose. So such kind of steps will be done by data engineers. After we have data prepared by the data engineers, it can be consumed by data analysts so as to understand what the data is trying to convey. So data analysts generally try to get the data and generally try to convey us what the data is trying to tell. But data scientists are one step ahead of data analysts, where they also predict what can happen in the future. So there are someone called platform administrators who try to provide administration support for all these people. For example, I hope you remember in the slide I spoke about the cloud where we store the data. So what platform administrators does is that they try to maintain this cloud so that the flow of the data from sensors is very smooth, right? So that's what platform administrators do. So what does a data analyst do is something like this. You have the data, we sort it, we arrange it in a way that is needed and present it visually. This is what a data analyst will do. And this is also called as business intelligence. So what is the life cycle of a data scientist? So every time you have a data, we try to utilize this framework so that it goes in this life cycle. Let me explain. First, we need to have the business understanding. This is also called as domain knowledge, where you try to understand why we need to perform operations on data. For example, do we need uh, let's say the windmill example that I just gave you. So the person who is going to mine the data and extract information from it should know what exactly windmill is and how does it work. And next thing that he's gonna do once he has is to collect the data from different sources and clean the data if there's any inconsistencies. For example, there can be missing data where you can clean them and handle them so that it makes sense, isn't it? For example, if I have to do a summation of 10 rows and I have couple of them missing, what do? Would you treat them as zero, or what would you do? Let's say, for example, there are 10 students and we have marks in a particular subject. You want to calculate the average of the 10 students, and couple of the marks of a couple of students are missing. What would you do? If you ask me, I will skip these two, consider 10 minus 2 8, take the marks of 8 and divide it by 8. Some people, what they do, they try to impute the value of 0, impute as in substitute. So they would do zero, they would assign 0 marks to those two missing values, and they try to take the average by dividing it by 10. Okay, so this is how data cleaning and feature engineering happens. This area is where you try to understand what's happening in the data. This is where till here it's the job of a data analyst who tries to clean the data and tries to understand what the data is conveying to us in the form of information. And in this part we try to do feature engineering, as in, if I have to predict future, do I need to know the names of, let's say, the same simple example that we just took. 10 students we have, and in this particular semester, in a particular let's say in this particular semester they have got their CGPA, and we need to estimate the CGPA of the next semester. So what are the uh, features as in the columns that you would take into consideration? Would you take their registration number or gender into consideration, guys? Does it matter for the prediction of CGPA?
No, sir.
No, because registration number is a generic, unique identification number, and gender doesn't matter because we all are studying the same subject, right? So, so we eliminate them from the modeling, predictive modeling. As in, for the machine learning model, it doesn't matter for you to supply those. But when you're doing that analysis here, let's say the CGPA of male students in this particular batch, an average is this much, female is this much. That's an kind of information that you're supplying. So there you would need that column, but when you're trying to predict future, you wouldn't need. So so that is what a data scientist does, to have that wisdom of what to use for predicting the future, and he goes ahead and uses different machine learning models or artificial intelligence to predict the future, and try to evaluate whether the model he chose is working or not. And based on that, he would communicate those findings to all the business, I mean the person or the business that they have who had given this job. So this is how a life cycle of a data scientist and data science works. This is a thumb rule, guys. No matter how many data scientists you meet, this is how they work, and this is how they interact with the data. So I want you all to also understand how this framework works, and always think in this procedure. Do not jump into directly into, many people jump all 1 to 5 steps and jump into 6, and they say they are not getting proper accuracy in the model. That is because you need to thoroughly go through 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and then only you can come to 6. So don't do that mistake. Make sure that, let's say if I'm an electrical engineer and I'm working on something which some other domain which I don't know, then I should sit and understand related to that, and then I have to do. For example, I did my electrical engineering and then worked in IT field, and the research that I'm doing is about movement of fish, which is completely new. But what should I do? I have to learn about the fish movements, the various kinds of fish, and all of that. I hope I'm making my point clear to all of you. So make sure that you would know what you're working on and then proceed. What it takes to become a data scientist, as I said, you would have to know the domain expertise that I had been telling all this while. Domain expertise is nothing but the industry that you're working in, and data engineering, the scientific method of thinking, hacker mindset as in not literally doing hacking. It's about getting the data by means of legitimate ways. visualization, you should know, you need to understand how computing works. It's very important because most of the time the kind of data these days we are getting is big data, which is huge amounts of data, and you need to have proper knowledge to save money. So cost cutting is an important way for data scientists to learn. Statistics is very important because uh, your prediction is basically about probability, isn't it? What is prediction? It's nothing but probably this would happen in future based on the data I have. That is what you would say, right? So statistics is the core of your foundation of data science. So what is trending these days is about unified data analytics. Everything that you can do with data will make you a data scientist. So when we have data in different databases, we try to do extraction from this particular source, transform it the way we want, and load it into presentations or machine learning models. This whole infrastructure. So in this area, your data engineer is involved. In this area, your data analyst is involved. In this end area, your data scientist is involved. This is how companies work in a bigger industries. What would you have to learn to become a data scientist is you have to know how to code. Coding is important. You need to learn about different databases, how to query from databases, for example SQL. You also have to know about cloud. You need to know how to do feature extraction based on the domain knowledge. You need to know different operating systems like Windows, Mac OS, Linux, etc. And finally, about how do you present them. Your communication skills are very important for a data scientist. So yeah, this is another data flow that I wanted to show you. Pre-processing is nothing but how we interact with the data, how to clean it, how to engineer it, and finally put it in a machine learning model and finally deliver insight. So there are various types of machine learning: supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning that you might learn if it interests you. I hope we all must be watching series on Netflix, but do you know how does it work and how the recommendation system works? It is also an AI. It is based on your viewing history and based on how you are trying to interact with the content on Netflix. It tries to recommend you the different series. So my homepage of Netflix and your homepage is quite different. And what is deep learning? That's another science within artificial intelligence where you try to use neural networks. I hope we all know neurons. What are neurons in our brain and in our body? Deep learning is about trying to use artificial neurons so as to think even more deeper rather than just using probability. So what generally CS students think deep learning is very cool, but basically it uses a lot of advanced matrix calculus and advanced mathematics. So you should thoroughly have that knowledge. The traditional machine learning models would require small amount of data, but your deep learning and artificial intelligence needs a lot of data for it to understand and then work, right? So yeah, so I hope you must have watched Google's recent presentations where they have shown about Google Pixel and also Google Maps, wherein if you show the maps, it will show you the way, like augmented reality and all that stuff. So, and it uses artificial intelligence very, very, very much in each of their product. I just wanted to show all of that. I'm just trying to see if I missed anything. Yeah. I just quickly want to show you different applications. Image captioning. So if you can see, if I supply the image, my artificial intelligence product would give me image captions. image segmentation so as to identify if I give an input as an image, I can get different segmentations of it. Like if there's a giraffe, elephant, etc., it can give me the classification of the animals it has. And I don't know how many of you have tried it. In Facebook, there's an option of converting a 2D image into a 3D image. I forgot the product name, but if you upload a 2D image, it converts into a 3D image. So that is being used in Facebook already. This is that. And image localization, satellites use image localization a lot so as to understand different conditions in the places using satellites. Image compression, I hope we all must have used this to upload our passport size pictures in different websites. Image captioning with hashtags. I generally use this a lot. I have a photography page when I'm so lazy to put in caption and type all the hashtags. So I upload that in an app which generates a uh, hashtags and also my uh, caption for that. So computer vision helps you with that. And also in image to image translation, like if I input an image, basically image editing procedures, there you can use deep learning. If you take a image with iPhone 13 Pro Max and open that picture, it automatically corrects that image and shows you that photo. So which means it's using AI to correct the image automatically and fastly. Image colorization, this is a old technology. We all must have seen all the old movies are now available in color. So and image transformations, like opening mouth, eyes open. I told you, right, there was this face app that was giving you your eyes when you upload a photo that has closed eyes. So that's there. Image completion, image sharpening, and all that stuff are very common nowadays. And I hope you have had used Prisma app, wherein it converts the pictures into paintings. So there are also LSTMs as an NLP that I told you, improvising handwriting to understand the handwriting better. Better. I'm sorry. So and LipNet, sentence level lip reading that you had just seen in the video, Barack Obama talking about deep learning introduction course in MIT. Image generation, this is very new, using GANs. These are called GANs. We can generate a picture of a human who never existed on Earth by combining two different images. By combining your image and my image, we can create a new um, person who is all different, who is not there on the Earth too. So the hotels, the for example, Oyo rooms, they generate their hotel pictures using artificial intelligence. I hope you must have had an experience when you visit some other places, some other cities. When you go into certain hotel, the picture that display on the website is different, and the picture that they have, I mean, the reality is different. That's because they must be using artificial intelligence to showcase their rooms in a better way. Video sequence prediction, now video analytics have been now the current trending is video analytics. As I told you, I am working on it, and also there's a lot of work that is going on video analytics based on the CCTV, based on different kinds of videos. You can actually understand how we can predict on the next moment. For example, let's say football. You can analyze on each player, understand the way they are playing, and you can take them into your team. Such kind of stuff. So I would want to end it with a thank you note to all of you for patiently listening. I am all open for questions. Please ask me your questions. and let me touch upon the points which you wanted to know. Guys, do you have any questions? Or did I make you feel sleepy?
No, sir, it was very good.
Yeah.
I think.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Yep.
Hello, sir.
Yes, I can hear you.
Uh, Sir, I'm actually doing my research on deep learning algorithms, sir.
Oh, great.
So, thank you, sir. Right now, I'm a research scholar and junior assistant professor in VIT University.
Oh,
Sir,
nice.
the session was very informative, and the way you present was very pleasant, sir.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for the session, sir.
Thank you so much.
Sir, small doubt regarding in the beginning I asked you about job opportunities, sir.
Yes.
Sir, my question is there any chance for the research scholars after completing their PhD? Is there any chance for getting jobs in the industry, sir?
Oh, yes, there are a lot of opportunities, sir. So if I have to explain, so most of the companies have artificial intelligence as their research wing because, as I said, the innovation can be done in all the fields using AI. So if you can just go to LinkedIn and search for these research plus AI opportunity, for example, Meta, I mean the Facebook company gives lots and lots of openings for this. Google,
Yes.
Microsoft, and also companies that are well established, HP, such kind of companies have openings, and also TCS, by the way. I have my couple of friends who worked in TCS. One of my student as in one of the attendees whom I mentored was from TCS research wing where he was working on machine learning already. He just wanted to learn deep learning and joined our session. So likewise, there are many openings in the industry. So yeah, anything specific that you want me to talk about, sir? Or maybe let me just see on. I generally browse on LinkedIn. I used to find a lot of opportunities on, especially for research related PhD holders. So you need not worry about industry because once you complete your PhD, there will be so many companies waiting for you. Any other questions or points that you wanted to ask anyone?
Sir, is there any chance for sharing these PPTs?
Um, yeah, if you want, I can share it. I don't have any problem. I made it, so no problem.
Yeah, thank you, sir. In the chat box, I'll post my email, sir. Please share if possible, sir.
Sure, sure,
Thank you, sir.
sure. So yeah, guys, as I was saying, you can connect with me in all these social websites and stay in touch, and I'll be happy to help any one of you in case of in this case in my field for sure. So feel free, and thank you for having me.
Well, I'm none to judge, but what all I can say is I'm fan from now, sir. That was an amazing session. Everything wonderful and painful comes to the end. Finally, we came end of our event. Before proceeding with vote of thanks, I request everyone to please turn on cam so that we can have a group snapshot. Well, thank you everyone. I would like to thank our guests for sparing their valuable time and making it even virtual to encourage young talents. I would also like to thank my club members without whom the smooth running of this event would have been impractical. Last but not the least, the life of our event, that is our participants, who made this success with their zeal and gave us some amazing time and memories. Hope you all stay safe and take care. Thank you. Have a good day. If you have any queries or issues, kindly contact in our official platforms.
Thank you, Ramya. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, sir. That was an amazing session.
Thank you.